Hey everyone, Regina here and Angela in New Zealand here for tonight's Women's Lounge. And tonight our topic is changing paradigms from old to new. I know that for me, from my my personal experience on my road, my journey to where I am today, I've had to get rid of a lot of old habits and bring in some new habits just to kind of to get to a point where I'm getting the results that I want to get in my personal life and in my business. And there's a quote that really stands out to me that I kind of tell myself now and then when I'm in a rut and I'm wanting things to change, and that is, if you want things in your life to change, then we have to change things in your life. And it's such an easy thing. There's a point sometimes when you're in your life and you know that you need to change because you're not getting anywhere, but then what do? It's sometimes it's quite you know you get stuck just trying to think about what you're going to do. So tonight we're going to talk about our personal stories and some ways and steps that we take to figure out how to change things in our life for better results. And hopefully they'll be helpful to you. And if you guys have any ideas of things that help you change your mindset and change things in your life, then yeah, let us know. Put it in the comments below. Tonight we are here with Angela from Wellington, New Zealand, and this is her first time on. And we're waiting for somebody else, but she'll hop on when she's able to. But Jess isn't here tonight because she's out there. She's out taking a hike somewhere in the wilderness, taking care of herself, taking care of her body and her soul, which is what everybody needs to do to be able to be sane in this world, right? Especially if, sometimes, especially a lot of us entrepreneurs working online, we have a vision of ourselves really succeeding, and sometimes we tend to keep on working, and we don't have anybody but ourselves to tell us to say, hey, stop for a minute. You need to go out and take care of yourself. So she's out doing that, and she'll be back next week. And I'm here in Prague. As some of you don't know me, my name is Regina, and I left New Zealand at the beginning of January to travel the world with my husband. And it's 2 a.m. here, and which is part of the reason why you haven't seen me for a few weeks, because I can't seem to stay up this late, but I managed to take a nap tonight. And so my husband and I are traveling the world after leaving our jobs for, after working for 60, 70 hours, because we knew that we deserved a better life than what we were, than the life that we were living at work all the time. And we knew that we, had some greatness inside of us that we wanted to share with the world, and to be able to help other people to live a dream. And now that we're living our dream life and traveling the world, we want to be able to help people do the same as well, because we know that it's possible. And a lot of it starts with mindset and knowing that you need to change. So my inspiration tonight for our topic was I've been listening to a lot of Bob Proctor and listening to a lot of Napoleon Hill, and Bob Proctor is just a really great motivational speaker, and he was doing a seminar on the science of getting rich, which is also incidentally a book written by a guy named Wallace Wattles. So in his seminar, one of the things that he talks about is changing your paradigms from old to new. And what a paradigm is simply just habits. And so it's just a series of habits that we learn in our lives. So going from old habits where we learn from our parents and our family and our school and just everybody around us in our environment growing up, versus what our paradigm is now, and how we change our minds now to be able to be more successful. And so I guess in a sense, when you're going from old to new, you're upgrading yourself, but you have to remember too that when you're trying to change yourself now, you're creating new habits. So it's going to be a conscious thought of reminding yourself that these are certain things that you need to do to be able to get to where you want to be. And I just wanted to show a couple of graphics that I got from his from his seminar, and let me just to give you an idea of you know, what's been going on in my head. So, we're so used to learning from school. We have this idea that we need to we're starting from results, and the thing is, the results that you see in your present day, and kind of creating your life around that is really a recipe for disaster. So, if you start with a paradigm where you're starting with results, like, for example, if, you see your bank account now, or you see, your x-rays, or you see just everything that's happening in your current life, stuff like that causes thoughts, that cause feelings, that cause actions, that create more of the same results. So, an example would be, if you're broke now, then you probably were broke last year, because you're in this endless cycle of thinking, you're looking at your bank statement, and you're getting really frustrated because you know that you're not getting enough money, and you're really concentrating on what you don't have, and what you see currently, really. And that's just kind of the old thought that a lot of us go through, and just one of the things that we don't learn in school is really how to change your paradigms. We learn a bunch of things in school, or growing up, but yeah, that's one thing, is not knowing how to change the paradigm into something, into new paradigms. So this new paradigm that Bob Proctor talks about in his seminar is, well, what if we started with ideas? What if we started with your goal in mind? And with your goal in mind, those will create feelings, that will create actions, that will create the results that you want, and you'll see an improvement with your results, and with your improvement with your results, and you can come up with greater ideas. So in a sense, this is kind of like a model for you to upgrade yourself. And so yeah, this is just one of the things that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, and I get stuck in a rut quite a bit. I just remember going to work before I left my job, and just going to work every single day, driving there, and thinking that, oh my gosh, I hated being there, and it wasn't because of the actual job itself. It was just my life was passing me by, and for some reason I kept thinking every single day that I was going to get fired because they don't like me, or they're not going to renew my contract. And that really wasn't ever the case, and it was just something that went through my head the whole time I was there. And that was definitely a recipe for disaster until I decided to make a change. And I guess ultimately what happens is, you need to make the decision, and that's what's going to get you into a set of new habits and start practicing new habits. So making the decision to change will definitely change your whole life. And then I started looking for ways to get out of my situation, and look for things like working online and running an online business, even though I had no prior business experience. And that decision started, putting me on the path of creating new habits, and really doing a bit more self-development, and trying to find out about taking care of my inner me, and making decisions from within rather than making decisions externally. So that's just kind of an overview of the topic for tonight, and me in a nutshell. But I did want to bring out Angela, who tonight is her first night, or here on the Women's Lounge, and she has got a lot of things to say and a lot of things to offer. So just wanted to say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and just tell us what you think about the topic and tonight.
Okay.
And
you can hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Oh, that's great. My name's Angela. My husband Scott and I got involved in with Regina and Mike back in, I think, near the end of February this year. We've both been looking for a change for quite a few years now. We've been in hospitality, both of us, for about 20 years each. Scott is a chef and me working front of house. And we both got to a point where we were just burnt out with it. We've had enough. We need a change. We've got 2 young kids. Emily's 8 and Ryan is 6. And we just want to be able to have more time for them. To cut a long story short, we had a business deal go sour about 4 years ago, and we've been left with a huge amount of debt. We had to move from Wanaka in the South Island of New Zealand back up to Wellington to have family support. And while that's been great, you know, the kids have had more time with grandparents and it's been wonderful, it's not where we want to be. We want to move back to Wanaka. That's our ultimate goal. And so we've been looking around for something different. Scott has started working also as a copywriter from home, which has led on to doing internet marketing. And I've started to move into it through looking at living more sustainably. We've been looking at doing this for over a year now. We made the change about February last year, I think it was. I was inspired by a woman here in New Zealand who cut her grocery bill by half. And so we started doing that, and now we grow as much stuff as we can. We bake and cook as many things as we can here at home. We also make our own cosmetics and cleaning products. And it just saved us a huge amount of money. And it's something that through internet marketing we can share our experiences, if you like, with other people. So we actually set up a website, freerangefamily.net, and we blog about what we're doing. It might just be about what's happening in the garden today. It might be, oh, I made a new product, or I might do a video on how to make deodorant or laundry powder. This is documenting our journey to living a more sustainable lifestyle. Now, we've had to go through a lot of change, a lot of challenges, I guess, to get to the stage that we're at now. You know, it's like you say, it's a lot of ingrained educational thoughts from other people around you that, oh no, you have to do things a set way, you have to do, you know, you have to get a job, you have to get married, blah, 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 all of that sort of thing. Whereas really we've sort of got to a point now where like, no, we don't have to do it that way. We can do it our way. It's our journey. It's not anyone else's journey. And it's also about having to be positive, you know, changing your mindset, which can be hugely difficult for a lot of people. But we're slowly coming around to it. I think it's even rubbing off on our kids. I posted a video on our Facebook page last night from our daughter Emily, who said, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said. She said, it's not, you've got to believe in yourself. Don't believe you can't do it. You've got to believe in yourself. And I thought, wow, that's pretty wise words from our 8-year-old. And it is very true, you know. I'm trying to read a lot more positive books, a lot more positive videos. I mean, for me, doing a video challenge has been a challenge in itself. I've always been someone that hates the camera. And now I don't think I'd necessarily want to stand there for a major photo shoot or anything like that, but I feel a lot more comfortable talking to people. I mean, doing something like this today, you know, 6 months ago, there's no way I would do anything like this. So it's also about changing mindset, I think. Believing in yourself, seeing those goals ahead of you. I mean, we can see ourselves living in Wanaka. We can see the house that we're going to live in. You know, I can see our backyard with our garden in it and our chickens, and just providing the life that we all deserve. It's having that vision board and seeing those goals in front of you.
I think what was really interesting when you were talking about your daughter is what she said, and I remember watching the video, and she's a lot like, you know, one of our other friends' daughter when they do videos. It's like, you know, kids are so intelligent and they have no fears, and one of the things that we need to remember too, I mean, I don't have children myself, but I know that just being around children, that they pick things up so quickly, so that if they see what you're doing, you know, you and Scott are doing, and what I'm saying and how they're living, they pick it up really quick. They're super smart. I mean, they're not going to say anything because, you know, they're not necessarily aware of it, but they're going to definitely pick it up. And, you know, just having them start at such a young age with a newer mindset than And then
Yeah.
maybe the way you were raised is just, it's going to be gold. And when I see kids like that who are just so onto it and really
Yeah.
being able to formulate their own opinions in such a way that, the future is just, it really is really bright, despite what
Yeah.
we see on the television and you know, and in the media. So
Yeah.
it
I mean,
made me
our kids
smile.
see, our kids see a different future. They both envisage when we moved to Wanaka. They both envisage having their own bedrooms, having their own space. They envisage the pets they're going to have. They've got names for them. They have it all planned out. And after doing that video with Emily yesterday, she's now said to me she wants to do a video challenge as well. So
That's
I'm
great.
trying to come up with a little topic for her as to what she can do a video challenge as well. But it's amazing the influence that you do have. The other influence is with making our own cleaning products and cosmetics. The kids notice that, and if we see those products in the supermarket, they comment on the smell of them. They comment, oh, they've got so many chemicals. It's better what we do at home. So you have a huge amount of influence on your kids, really. But then I want them to have the freedom to do what they want to do as well. I don't want them growing up with the mindset that we had, that you have to go down a certain path, you have to do things a certain way. You need to have the freedom to think through things for yourself as to what the right path is for you.
Yeah, exactly. And you were saying that you guys have a dream board as well, and the kids have a dream board that do they look
Yeah.
at it every day?
Yes, they have. Emily has a list on her dream board of the pets she's going to have. I think she's going to have 4 rabbits. She's going to have a puppy. She's going to have goldfish. She's got names for them. She's got a list of all the food that she's going to be feeding them as well. And we've got obviously we're going to have to build a hutch for the rabbits. And they've got a vision of the goldfish bowl in their bedroom. And I think they've got names for all the pets as well. And because on our vision board we have the house that we want. It's something that I think we'll have to build from scratch. And I've got a vision actually of our backyard or quarter acre or acre section where the vegetable garden's going to be. I mean, it probably helps that we've lived in Wanaka before, so we can envisage the area already. But yeah, it's just keeping those goals in the forefront of your mind and believing in them, believing in yourself.
See, and hearing children doing this as well blows my mind because creating vision boards and being able to focus on and visualize my dream personally is something that I'm sure I learned a little bit as a kid because my parents were pretty good at having me think about my goals, but just really actually doing it and visualizing it is something that we talk about here on the Women's Lounge quite a bit, and it's something that I'm learning now as an adult, just in the past few years, really taking an active part in it, an active, doing it. So I guess that's one of the things that, for all of you out there, and I'm sure, if you've watched the Women's Lounge, then you're pretty familiar with this, but being able to think of what you want, what you ultimately want, what do you want? What is it? And if you don't know what you want, knowing what you don't want helps you know what you do want, and you get closer to what you actually want. Being able to visualize it in your head, sometimes putting a specific date will help you, get to that goal or not. If for some reason you have a date, let's say as far as making money in your business, if you have a particular monetary financial goal for a specific date and that doesn't feel right, then change that amount of money, or don't even put a date, but just just keep telling yourself, well, this is tell it to yourself in present tense. This is what I have in my life. I know that this is coming to me. The money is being transferred to me for the services that I'm giving, the quality services that I'm giving to other people, So I guess that's the other thing too, is that in terms of money and business, that if you want a certain amount, you have to think of what you are going to give in return, because you can't have something for nothing. So what kind of products or what kind of services are you going to offer? What quality of service are you going to offer to be able to get the amount of money that you want? And Think and Grow Rich, and even with Bob Proctor, because he goes by, he follows Think and Grow Rich quite a bit, and I know a lot of you already know about this book. He talks about having a goal card, just a goal card, and writing down in detail, what it is you want in present tense, and not even just looking at it. He suggests you look at it twice a day, but not even just looking at it, but really looking at it, visualizing it, and feeling it as if you already have it, feeling it as if it's coming to you, and it's really the intent and the emotion put together with what you want that'll really get you to your goal. And as I said again, if some of you have seen me here on the Women's Lounge, and I've shared my love for having lists. That I like to write lists and follow them. And one actually very important moment in my life where a list actually worked is, well, besides my lifestyle right now and being able to travel the world, I wrote a list down for before I met Mike, my husband, just exactly what I wanted, what kind of qualities I wanted in this partner, in this life partner, and I just read it over and over and over again. And I actually even did it with my current business now. Like, I knew that I wanted to travel the world. I knew that I wanted to be able to earn a sustainable income while traveling the world, and help others as well. And so, just reading the list over and over again, really feeling it, putting pictures to it, and when someone else has something that I like, instead of being jealous, like, that person has a really nice car, or that person is really successful in their business, they have an awesome website, instead of, being jealous about it, I compliment it, and I'm like, well, that's really cool, like, that's just something that I really want to try to work towards too, because I know that when I'm at the point where, I have this, awesome website, or, earning this much money a month, or I know that because I know that it's available for everyone. Whatever you want is possible, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes back to that thing of that positive attitude and believing in yourself. Seeing those goals in front of you. I mean, and for us, with living more sustainably, it's for us, it's the actual doing. I make my own deodorant, I make my own moisturizer, I make my own shower gel, among other things. And I just want to be able to, aside from the marketing, it's also about showing other people how simple it is to make this stuff. It's breaking down some barriers with people, I guess. A lot of people, they think, oh, that's too time consuming, I don't have time, I'm married, or I've got kids, I work full time. Whereas people are entitled to their own opinions, but I want to be able to show people that, well, if you really want to do it, you can make these things happen, you can do these things. I mean, that's why I've done a few videos of like making your own deodorant, making moisturizer, to show people how quick and easy it really is. And a lot of it is using stuff that's in your own kitchen cupboard at home probably anyway. And I guess that's the thing with sharing your vision and sharing what you're doing. We're real people. It's breaking down those barriers of showing you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm actually seeing comments in the Women's Lounge that say that they can't even see us live. So ask if this is working at all.
Oh, really?
So yeah, let me just. I'm just trying to see in the actual.
Oh, wow.
If anyone can see us, can they? Oh no, I do see you. I guess let me just your browser. I just checked on the site. Sorry about that, guys. I guess that's this is my first time hosting this, so I'm just like trying to make sure everything works okay. And so if you guys can see us, if you can just comment in the bottom in the post, then that would be really helpful. And yeah, I just typed in there, just refresh your browser if you can't see us. But yeah, so there's a reason why you guys are here watching us here on the Women's Lounge, and either you have an online business yourself, or you're interested in being a part of a like-minded community who have essentially the same goals in mind to be able to succeed and to be able to upgrade ourselves and create a better us, and maintain that and just be around supportive people. And with that comes responsibility, and it's the responsibility of learning how to change yourself for the better when you feel like you need it. If you notice that the results in your life, or if you notice that there's nothing, if the results that you're getting in your life and in your business aren't even changing at all, then there's something that you need to change about it. And I guess it's just a matter of figuring out what it is exactly what exactly you need to change, and if you don't know how to change it, knowing how to find the information to change it and to change yourself. I mean, we were all raised with certain ideals and certain ways that maybe don't necessarily resonate with us as adults, and it's fine to be able to have certain habits that we've learned growing up, but being an adult and being someone who can create your own decisions, you're responsible for finding ways to change yourself for the better, of course. And it's always changing too. I mean, don't you think? Like I always feel like I upgrade myself, but then I need to do it again every now and then. It's almost like you have to take a moment to reassess where you are at the moment, and compare it to where you were last time. And if you feel like you still need to grow a bit more, then to kind of make more changes in your life. So it's kind of like it's an ongoing thing throughout your life, don't you think?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But I think it's also if you're willing to make the changes yourself, other people will notice as well. I mean, when I made the change to give up my job back in April, I've gone back and helped out at my old work recently, and everyone notices the change in me. I just feel so much happier, so much more positive. It's just, and I guess I feed, you try and feed off that sort of thing, those positive vibes as well, to continue to make more changes.
And I think that when people see you actually making the change, it inspires them to do, they think about their own life, and it inspires them to do something different as well, because a lot of us always talk about, like, I don't like this, or I need to do this and change this, but we don't do anything about it. So the fact that, the best way to teach people is to live by example, which is exactly what you were doing. And I know that you left your job in the, after 20 years in the same industry, and,
yeah. It's hard making that change. It's hard making, and also it's hard when you have, when there's people around you that don't give you the positive vibes so much, I guess. I mean, my family, they're trying to support me in what I'm doing, but they don't understand it, so it's harder for them to support what we're trying to do. But in a subtle way, I think they've actually noticed the change in me, that I'm just trying to be a lot more positive about things, and I think it's slowly changing their mindset as well, to realise that it's my journey, it's what we're doing, it's not them, it doesn't have to affect them, as long as I'm happy and going down the path that works for us. That's the important thing.
So that's an interesting thing that you bring up too with family and negativity, because when you're changing your going through your transition and changing your life, people obviously notice the difference. So, in your experience, and I know that you talked about this a lot. So, how do you handle negativity and other people's attitudes towards you? I mean, how did you handle it before? Maybe like let's say last year or a few months ago, compared to how you handle it now. Like, what are the differences and
I think
yeah.
in the past I probably haven't handled it as well as I can. I've just sort of, I suppose we've had a few bumps and mistakes along the way, and that's part of life, part of learning, part of growing. And I've sort of tend to think, well, okay, things haven't worked out, maybe I should listen, maybe I should do it this way or that way. Whereas now I'm sort of more like, well, doing it the other way hasn't worked for us. We need to try a different direction. And also I think I try and think, well, okay, yeah, that's your attitude, you're entitled to your opinion, but it almost I try and make it motivate me even more and think, well, no, I'm going to show you that this works and this is going to be successful for us. So not in a nasty way, not in a way to say, oh, I'm going to, so there sort of thing. It's not like that. It's more just a case of, well, no, I'm going to show you that, changing the attitude, changing my direction is a positive thing. I guess trying to turn it around, I guess.
Yeah, just take it for, just take it a positive way. I was reading a quote today that said the best revenge is to be successful. And I guess when you are successful, it's not really revenge. And, at that point, it doesn't even matter to you because you are successful. So just showing people that you can do it.
It's harder for people to relate to what you're doing when they don't understand it. My father is coming up 74, and he hasn't joined the computer age at all, and he's not likely to. He doesn't understand them, doesn't want to know about them, and so I think it makes it a lot harder for him to understand what you don't know. And so I just have to show him through actions, and I think he's coming round. He's been a lot more supportive of the last few months, which is great, because it definitely makes life easier when your family is supporting you. But by the same token, you don't have to be governed by what other people think. It's your journey, like I say, and do it your way.
And just like what we were talking about earlier with dream boards and being able to think of your dream and focusing on it, when you get into a point where there are people who are challenging your, what you're doing and your ideas, then constantly looking at your list and constantly looking at your images and your dream board, that's really what's going to push you through. And especially when you're dealing with family and people that you or people whose opinions that you've trusted at some point, and you still do, but that don't necessarily work with your current lifestyle or the way you want to change towards whatever direction that you want to go towards.
Yeah.
I actually want to. Go ahead.
No, you go. I think it's just a case of. I think it's sort of just quickly. It's a case of not everyone, but some people in my parents' generation don't want to or don't know how to change. They think they're too old to make that change, and so they can't understand what we're trying to do. Doesn't mean it's wrong though, and I think that's the important thing. And don't let those sort of things put you off. Don't think it's wrong to do something different from what other people say you should.
Right. Yeah, dealing with older relatives or even people, even younger people who are a bit set in their ways, you can't outwardly try to change their mind, because the only thing that you're in control of is yourself. So the only thing that you can control is whatever you decide to think, whatever you decide to say, whatever you decide to do. So
yeah. I mean, it's scary going out on a limb. It's scary making a big change and doing something completely different. But I believe in us. I believe in our journey that we're going on. I believe it's the right thing for us and our family, and that's the important thing to remember.
And that's what's going to carry you through the ups and the downs, because especially working online, and maybe a lot of you women out there obviously know this, or maybe you don't know this, but working online is, sometimes people think it's a glamorous thing, or that you're not doing anything, but it takes a lot of work to do, and you're always going to have your ups and downs, and you need to find a way to remind yourself why you're doing this, what your vision is, and it's what's going to carry you through. In anything you do too, it's like there's no such thing as easy money, and in anything you do, if you want to do really well in it, it's going to take a lot of work. Now, whether you're going to trade your time for money, or whether you're going to earn money through your profits, and to live a better lifestyle. So
yeah. I think that's the other thing. I can relate this back to, people don't understand what you do when you're working online. I can relate this back to when our daughter Emily was born prematurely, and we spent 10 weeks in the neonatal unit with her. And we were living in Queenstown. She was born in Dunedin, 3 hours away, so I stayed there with her for 10 weeks in hospital. And people were like, what do you do with yourself? You've got 24-hour babysitters with the nurses. What do you do with your time? And because they weren't in the situation, they couldn't understand it themselves. They couldn't understand that I had to express milk every 3 hours for Emily, even though she couldn't feed. I tried to do as many things as I could for her. I tried to change her nappy and take her temperature, and the nurse would get her out of the incubator a couple of times a day so I could have cuddles with her. I think people thought I was, sitting there reading magazines or something all the time, when they don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And if someone came in to see me, which was lovely to have visitors, it was also a case of I have a set way of doing things, and I don't want to interrupt that pattern, I guess, if you like, because it was such a stressful time. But I just couldn't believe people's attitude of like, what do? You must have so much time on your hands. I'm like, no, I don't actually.
So I have a question for you with regards to going through this transition of changing your mindset from the old paradigm to new. At what point in your life did you realize that you needed to do something different, and what was it really that kind of drove you to moving into a new mindset?
I guess you could say what the tipping point for us, I guess, maybe might have been about 4 years ago when our business partnership went sour, and our partners walked away with a lot of money, and we walked away with a lot of debt. I think then we were like, something has to change, but we didn't know how or what sort of change to make. And so moving back to Wellington, we thought, well, we've got to stick with the tried and true of working in hospitality, and then slowly over the last 4 years we haven't settled with anything. We haven't settled up here in Wellington, and I think probably the tipping point was going back to work after the Christmas break this year and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do it anymore. I've also had carpal tunnel syndrome in both my hands from 20 years of carrying plates and glasses and all that sort of thing, and my hands can't take it anymore. They can't take that repetitive nature, and so I've got to find something else to do. And Scott's the same. His back has gone out now from 20 years of working on his feet, and so I think that was probably the tipping point, especially with my hands, thinking, no, I can't do this, I've got to do something different. But I needed to find something that I was passionate about, because I think if you're passionate about something, you believe in it so much more as well. I'm passionate about living sustainably, and that that's something that I can transfer or transpose to other people, I think. So that sort of, I suppose that was the tipping point for us. That's what made us think we need to make a change. And also just looking at the kids and looking around at our situation, thinking it doesn't have to be this way. You know, we can make this change. And now that we are both jumped in head first, I guess, with it, we can see those changes happening. And it's slowly, it's not a overnight success thing, but we're slowly starting to see the change happen now.
It's definitely not an overnight success thing, but it is definitely something that is sustainable for the rest of your life. And the things that you are learning now, you know, working online, and even just working for yourself, you know, creating your products and selling them, is it's a long-lasting thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's not
definitely.
like
I mean,
you know.
I do a market once a month as well, a local market where I actually physically sell my products, my moisturisers and deodorants, etc. And I'm getting a lot of repeat customers coming through now as well. So I'm like, well, great, the message is getting out there. People are starting to know about me as well, which is, you know, great positive feedback.
And that's another thing too, is you know, changing your new mindset and a new lifestyle is the way you create relationships with people. You know, I've noticed, and with my experience, like trying to create relationships with people, and especially with clients and you know, future clients that I want to work with. My intention is to really have a common ground with that person, create a genuine relationship, because you don't want them to be your client or your customer just one time. You want them to come back to you, and you want them to be able to trust you. So, you know, everything you do now, or everything that I do, I don't know, I'm sure you do this too, is to be able to create a trust between the two of you, so that, you know, find a way for them to know, like, and trust you as a genuine person, and not someone trying to get a quick buck. Because, you know, in the end, we're here, or, you know, Mike and I are here to help others. And I know that the people that we're around, you know, including you and, you know, like Jess and everyone here on the Women's Lounge, is, you know, one of our intentions is to help others live the lifestyle that we do. And it's not necessarily just traveling and all that stuff, but whatever your version of freedom is, whatever you think, you know, whatever your passion is, and, you know, is your version of freedom. And
I think it's also about creating that personal relationship. Like, it's not just an anonymous person on the internet. It's actually someone that you can relate to in some way.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we work on, like, you and I work together online, and even though we have that aspect of it where we're able to get to reach out to a broader audience online, because, you know, it's so easy, there still is that human aspect to it where you need to connect, and you need to say, hey, you know, just how are you doing right now? You know, how can I help you? You know, what can I do for you? As much as we love hiding behind a computer, sometimes you just have to actually reach out as a human being, and that'll always be there to be able to create a better business for yourself. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it just, I mean, okay, you don't get the physical contact. Well, you do every 90 days when we meet up. But it just, it makes it real, very real. I mean, I think that was what made Scott and I jump into this, is that, because Scott, I mean, I don't know if many of you know that Scott took over Mike's job at the martial arts shop here in Wellington, New Zealand. And so that's how Scott got to know Mike. And through Scott and Mike, I've got to know Regina. And I think it's the fact of seeing real people living out their dreams makes a huge difference, and seeing them, they're actually doing it. You know, it's not some written word on a screen. It's not just that. It's real people. You can see their experiences and see what they're doing, hear what they're planning for next month, or and that makes all the difference to me.
And it's funny that you say that, because people see how, you know, everyone in all the women that we work with, sometimes people will say, well, I'm not too sure about that. And I'm like, well, what aren't you too sure about? We're all living how we want to live, and it's all on you. however you want to live, are you you need to take action on what you believe to be true, and the best way to know that this is right for you or whatever is right for you is how you feel inside. Like, are you able to connect with the people that you can work with online, and can you connect with them at a human level? And I know that it's hard, just being behind a computer screen, just you know. But
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard, but I guess it's connecting through shared experiences, shared dreams. I mean, I know I'm trying to connect with a whole lot more people at the moment through, who are doing homesteading, doing the sustainable living, because it'll be shared experiences, and I can say to them, oh, yes, no, I did this, and that didn't work, or, we can compare photos of our tomatoes or something like that, just for example. But it's the shared experiences, and I think that's what helps connect people.
Yeah, shared experiences and finding that common ground, and just knowing that everyone is human, you know.
Yeah.
And it helps that we all meet, every 90 days in person, and not even just that's that kind of screws up your head in itself, because it's you meet each other in person and you're like, I can't believe there are people out there like you who think the way I do, or who have one goal to be to be successful and to live the life that you deserve. So yeah, I think
and I think
relationships is
it's also important to connect with people like that, because it helps to reinforce what you're doing, and also to feed off that positive energy, the positive vibes. I mean, I know from our personal experience that we haven't had a lot of people, people that don't understand what we're trying to do. They can't be so positive about stuff. Whereas to be amongst people that are doing the same thing, got the same dreams, the same goals. Okay, everyone has their own branches of how they're trying to do things, but that is a huge impact. It makes a huge difference.
And that's a good point too, and good advice for when you know that you need to change and you want to keep on with your new lifestyle, or at least learn how to change more, is to be able to be around people who are like-minded. There's something that kind of sticks in my head, and that is there are three types of people that you should be around. One is to be around a mentor who can guide you, and one is to have a peer who you can bounce ideas off of and talk about strategies and mastermind about things. And then the third person is someone who's a few steps behind you, who you can teach, because in teaching you'll learn a lot more. So, and the thing with these three people that you should have in your life, you should have one common goal, and that one common goal is whatever you decided to be. So as long as you're all on the same path, having someone in front of you, having someone right next to you, and having someone behind you are the people that you want to be around to really reinforce the new habits, reinforce the new paradigm that you're changing into, to reinforce the new habits that you want to create to live a better life and to create better results in your business as well. I've never personally, well, I've had a few mentors in my job, but it's nothing like what I'm experiencing now. And in your life, have you ever had mentorship, or at least a group of people like we do here? I'm just curious.
Probably not. I mean, hospitality is a completely different thing altogether. It's I mean, it's a very reactive job. You're reacting to what's going on around you. I mean, I've had, supportive people that I've worked with before, and I've had great teams that I've worked with before, but this is just a whole new level. It's just, there's so many people there. If you fire a question out, you're likely to get half a dozen or a dozen answers to the question, giving people's own points of view. And that other people are going through the same things that you are, or have gone through the same struggles that you have, to get to their goals. And it's great seeing the different levels. You can see the top earners to have your goals to aim towards, but you can also see the other people that are, doing the everyday thing to get to those goals. And I think that's great inspiration as well. And you can sort of say, well, hey, I saw this today. How did you do that? Or, I find the support is a whole new level here, really.
Awesome. Well, we're about to the top of the hour, and to all you ladies or all you viewers out there, we definitely respect your time. So I wanted to ask you, Angela, I know that you've given a lot of really great advice and tips and tricks, but is there anything else that stands out in your mind for some advice for anyone out there who's really trying to change their mindset into something better, or at least, trying to keep with new habits?
I think it's having a clear image of your goal. You've got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. That's probably one of the most important things. And having the support around you is very important as well. I'm lucky that Scott and I are doing this together, so we can feed off and support each other. Having a great mentor. Regina and Mike are our mentors, and they're just about at the point where they want to cheer us on from the sidelines, which is great. But also, have a clear vision of your goal and stay positive. Read the mindset books. Watch the videos. Take a leap of faith. Taking a leap of faith, that might just change things for you. I was always petrified of doing anything on video up until we did our first 30-day challenge. When was that? Back in about March, April, I think it might have been. And I was like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Or I've done it. And now I'm partway through our second 30-day video challenge, and I feel completely comfortable with it. And I think it's my way of, I can express myself better through video, and also I can reach out to more people and make it more personable. So
and
it's getting over your fears and believing in yourself.
And it's that whole thing too about creating relationships. Is when people see you on video, they already know who you are. They know what you're about because you talk about what your vision is and all of that stuff. And it's just seeing you on this hangout right now. You look really comfortable, and you've really come a long way since since we met you. So thank you for your advice, and I think that's is very valuable, and I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me today.
Yeah. It's good to have you on here. And to all of you out there watching this, what are some things that that help you when you want to change something and kind of get you on the path to success? Do you have dream boards as well? Are there any books that you read? If there are any books or any audios that you listen to, it would be really cool if you could share it down below. I think a few weeks ago we've shared some books that we read, and if you want us to put some links there as well for some books and audios that we listen to, then we're more than happy to do that. So if there are any topics that you guys want to talk about, because you're very, very much a part of this conversation as well, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We read the comments, and any messages that you send to us on Facebook, we respond to. So we would love to hear what you have to say, and give you guys the value that you want. I'm pretty sure that Jess is going to be here next week, and like I said earlier, she's out taking care of herself, and she'll be nicely refreshed next week. As I don't think I have too much to say right now. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. I always love being on the Women's Lounge, and I just haven't been around because right now it's 3 a.m. here in Central Eastern Europe. So I try my best. I took a nap earlier, and I guess maybe that's another thing that I can change. With myself is to make it more of an effort to take extra naps at night so I could make these, because I actually really love being on Women's Lounge. I love connecting with all of you out there. So so if any of you have any books or anything that you like reading or listening to, or some advice about things that you think about when you have to change, or move towards your goal, then put it down in the comments below. And if you're interested in working with the people in the Women's Lounge, if you want to get connected, then come on our Facebook page, and yeah, check out the links below. And
I haven't been able to put my link on the bottom of my my video here, so if anyone wants my link on Facebook, it's www.facebook.com/family-free-range. That's where you'll find us.
Cool. Well, thank you, Angela, so much for being here, and hopefully you'll come on the future Women's Lounge.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week, 8 p.m. Eastern on Women's Lounge. Have a fabulous week, and I have a challenge for you. Think about some other things that you want to change within yourself. Something just popped in my head with, a lot of us make New Year's resolutions, and we usually try to have a list of all these things that we want to change, but just stick to one thing. So yeah, my challenge for you is to pick one thing that you want to change and stick to it for the next 30 days and see how that goes for you, because changing that one thing can mean the world, can change your whole life. And creating new habits takes about 30 days for it to really get ingrained in your mind. So that in mind, we'll see you guys next week. Hope you have a great evening and a wonderful week. See ya.
Bye.